I am sure sports. You know me there, I'm coast to coast representing. I mean, I say this is righteous representing for Omar. You don't know, come get the sports over here from near and far. Boy. Me say I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. If me not sure, that me not say it. Know who score, that me not say it. Never know the game play, that me not say it. If me never seen a game, me no know who play. For your sports news, better come over here so. For your soccer news, then come over here so. If you don't love sports, still come over here so. For the day done, you are gonna love over here so.
So when it comes on to behavior concerning football, Jamaica is decent. I am sure that if we can get all of these things done, set in place by the end of April, it gives us enough time before the World Cup campaign. Not afraid of no Brazil, no Argentina with these crap of players. We are good enough. Remember to like, subscribe, share. Listen, comment. Let me know what your thoughts are.
Trick Jerk Marinade gives your meats and vegetables authentic Jamaican jerk flavor. The spices are directly from Jamaica. Spices like jerk seasoning, allspice, Scotch bonnet pepper, fresh scallions, thyme, ginger, and garlic. The key ingredients to a great jerk marinade. 0% sugar and low in sodium. You want to try it?
Made up of 18 Jamaican herbs and spices. Add delicious, bold flavor to your next grilling experience. Flavoring sauce, a marinade, basting, condiment, or topping. Trick Nick Jerk Barbecue Sauce.
All right. Good morning. Welcome to I Am Sure Sports. I am your host, Mannings Man. This is going to be a very, very good show. Today, we're going to cover some NFL football. It is, as you know, Super Bowl weekend. This Sunday at 4 p.m. when the Kansas City Chiefs will take on the Philadelphia Eagles. It will be Patrick Mahomes going up against Jalen Hurts, right? First time in the history of the NFL, two African-American or black quarterbacks are meeting in the finals or in the Super Bowl. So we are going to be discussing that. All right, I want to invite you to come on and join the show. I have a very astute NFL mind who will be here with me. He will not disappoint you. Of that, I am sure. So please make sure that you tune in. And as you tune in, remember to let someone else know what is going on I Am Sure Sports. As usual, I want to also share with you just a quote to inspire you today. You know, we try to do this. We find ways to encourage and inspire people to a better life and a better way. All right. And this quote says, close some doors today, not because of pride, incapacity, or arrogance, but simply because they lead nowhere. There's a time to close certain doors, all right? Not because of pride, incapacity, or arrogance, but simply because they lead nowhere, all right? When one door is closed, another door opens. But we so often look so long and so regretfully upon the closed door that we do not see the open ones which are for us. Finally, let me encourage you. Associate yourself with people of good quality, for it is better to be alone than to be in bad company. All right. Just want to inspire. Big up to everyone who is on the show. Fresh God and the Massive. Big up again. Please keep the content clean and positive, so the 5-year-old will feel as comfortable in it as the 50-year role. Big up to all our sponsors, Prestige Finance, and also to Launch Legacy. We have a man that if you have ever listened to daytime radio, I believe he's one of the best footballing minds in all of Jamaica, probably across the Caribbean landscape. You may disagree with me, but I've listened to him. He's kind of sometimes one-sided, because he favors a particular player. I hope that he will give he will give more balanced views today. And I know some people are already waiting in the comment section to beat him, but we are not going to interrupt him today. We are going to allow him to speak and to share the details. You hear him on the radio oftentimes. He goes by the name of one of our national heroes and the world renowned Marcus Mosiah Garvey. He's a Garveyite, they say, so he goes by the name Garvey. He's from the cool parish of Manchester and went to Manchester High School, yet to win a Doncaster Cup. Won some cricket stuff, but that's kind of it for them. So we're going to welcome and invite the one and only, yours truly, Mr. Garvey, to the show.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, man. I think because
thanks for the opportunity to be in here.
You're wonderful, man. I think because you are your camera is to the light, so we are seeing everything behind you bright, but you are actually dark. And we know that they call you brown man. You understand?
Yeah.
Me? So you're
the
probably
lighting here, the lighting.
Yeah. You need to fix up the lighting. Yeah. So because you're not seeing your face really, we're just seeing an image.
So I told me like this kind of background here, showing them the sky.
You like the background, but we're not seeing you, but we're hearing you. We're seeing, we're not seeing you, but we're hearing you. All right, so we're gonna see if we can fix that. I see already a comment in here from your very good friend Gunner's boss. He says, "You're smoking, man. Garvey is an embarrassment to debate in football." And some of the people are saying, don't trust no shadow after dark because they can't see you. But Garvey, I mean, welcome to the show again. It's absolutely a delight. We hope. There you go. That was a little better look while. I don't know what you did, but we just saw you. I don't know what you did when you put your hand up. But that kind of worked a little bit. But you are very versed on football. All right, very versed on football. We talk about football. We're talking about the oval one, the NFL. And so the Super Bowl is this weekend. I know you're also a big Patrick Mahomes fan, but I want you to talk to the people, help to educate Jamaica about what is happening, what is historic about it, what are your predictions, and how both quarterbacks match up, how the teams match up. And as comments come in, I'll bring them to your attention, but just go ahead and share with the people as much information so they can be more abreast with what is happening in the NFL this weekend.
Right. All right. Thanks again for having me, man. Well, this weekend is the 57th annual Super Bowl. This is the 57th edition, and it will be in Tempe, Arizona, which is ironic because the Chiefs' first game this year was in Arizona. Their opening game was against the Cardinals in Arizona. So they're actually returning to the place where they played their first NFL regular season game this year. As you said earlier, it's a matchup between the first matchup in history between two African-American quarterbacks, which brings another side note to the game. And as far as the matchup of the teams are concerned, what you have here is that you have the number one rated offense in the Chiefs going up against the number 2 offense in the Eagles. And you have the number 6 ranked off defense in terms of points allowed, which is the Eagles, going up against the number 11th ranked Chiefs defense. So it's a pretty balanced matchup on paper, and it should be a game where the stars should be called upon to do their thing and make the difference in a game like this.
All right. Go ahead.
Yeah. Were you asking a question?
Yeah, I was going to say outside of the quarterbacks, because so often the discussion in the NFL is always about the quarterbacks, but outside of the quarterbacks, are there other top quality players with good numbers on either team that will or could play a significant role in the outcome of this game?
Right. Well, ironically, both teams this year had 7 Pro Bowlers, and each team also had 6 All-Pros. So in terms of high quality, high end players, they are basically evenly matched. A lot of people are saying that the Eagles have a better roster from top 1 through 53, which I don't agree with, because in games like these, it's the stars that makes the difference. And as I said earlier, they both have 6 All-Pros, and so I think they're matched up evenly in terms of stars. Where I think this game will be decided is on third down, because if you look at these teams, the Eagles have a great offensive line. They were ranked number 3 in terms of pass blocking. The Chiefs have a great offensive line. They were ranked number 1 in terms of pass blocking. The Eagles were the number 1 running team in the NFL. And, you know, the Chiefs don't run a lot, but in terms of average yards per carry, they were like number 6 in the league. So they both have great offensive and defensive lines. So the trenches battle should be a great battle. And but on third down, because what happens with the Eagles now, man, is that the first thing I'm going to look at is the Eagles offense. The Eagles offense is an offense which is a run first base offense, as you know.
Yeah.
And they rely on creating different kind of matchups, because their quarterback, Jalen Hurts, he plays a significant role in their running game, because he's averaging like 40, 50 yards a game. So he plays a significant role in that running game. So what they're trying to do is avoid being in third and long situations, because they're not really equipped for Jalen Hurts to make those 7-step drops and try to complete 3rd and 7s, 3rd and 8s, 3rd and 9s. So the goal for the Eagles is to create good yardage on first and second down with their run game, and put Jalen Hurts in third down situations where the defense has to second guess. They can't just play for the run or play for the pass.
Right.
So on the other side now,
it's probably like 5 and 3rd, 6 and 3rd, 4 and 3rd.
Right. Anything third and 5, or I mean, well, on third down, what you want to get is 3rd and 3 or less.
Yeah.
Right. So anything 3rd and 5 and up, that favors the defense. So for the Chiefs now, their goal is to get the Eagles into 3rd and long situations, because in all honesty, Jalen Hurts has not proven himself as the type of passer in the NFL as of yet that you could rely on to consistently make 3rd and long situations. So that's going to be a very interesting matchup. On the other side of the ball.
But how important is the coach's call in this situation? Because do you trust Andy Reid to make better coaching decision than the coach of the Philadelphia Eagles in an important game like this? Because a lot of times, some of Andy Reid, who is the head coach at the Kansas City, some very questionable calls sometimes in the past.
Yes.
But go ahead and dissect that part of it.
Right. Well, the thing about Andy, which is interesting, that in his career he's 24-3 coming off a buys. Okay. So he actually does well whenever he has an extra week to prepare. However, the part of his coaching which is questionable, which you alluded to, is his in-game clock management. He does have a reputation and a history of making, and even last week he made some very questionable choices in the AFC Championship game. One of them,
the Bengals.
Yes, versus the Bengals, because the first one he challenged with that incomplete pass, that was a ridiculous challenge, and he basically gave a timeout away. And then his second challenge, he challenged it and won it, but by winning it, he had no challenges left for the fourth quarter. So luckily for them, no plays arose in the fourth quarter where they needed to make a challenge, because that would have came back to haunt them. So you're right about that. But in terms of his overall preparation, in terms of getting the Chiefs ready, I think the Chiefs will be ready to play, because he has a good record of getting his teams ready off a bye. So I don't see them being not prepared for this game. I think they'll be prepared.
Okay. How do you sum up the Eagles coach?
Eagles coach. To be honest, I think this Eagles coach is very unproven, because if you look at their season, they got out to a 8-0 start, played a very soft schedule, very soft schedule, and they ended the season in their last 7 games. They were 4-3. So they didn't. I mean, a part of that has to do with the fact that their quarterback got hurt and missed 2 games. But nonetheless, they were 4-3. And in the playoffs, I think they've had a very fortuitous run because the Giants were a very unproven commodity.
Yeah.
And then last week when they played the Niners, if you look at the metrics in the game, the Niners actually ran the ball well against the Eagles last week. It was just the fact that they lost their quarterback so early, they had no pass games.
Right, yeah.
Couldn't throw the ball at all. But if you look at the way they ran the ball, there is hope there for the Chiefs. And in totality, I'm gonna give you the most surprising stat that I came across when I dove into these numbers for the Super Bowl. The most surprising number I came across, Mannings, man, is that the Chiefs are actually better at stopping the run than the Eagles. The Chiefs only surrendered 107 yards a game on the ground. The Eagles actually surrendered 126 yards a game on the ground, which is significant. That's a 20-yard difference. So it shows you that the Chiefs are actually better at stopping the run. And if that holds true, then the Eagles are going to be in trouble because they have to be able to run the ball. They have to be able to run the ball.
All right. Let me just say this because there are a couple of comments that are questioning some of the things that you're saying. For example, Rob Smith has just said, how can they play a soft schedule, which he's speaking of you, referring to the Eagles having a soft schedule, saying that when 3 teams in their division made the playoffs, right? So he's saying that how can the schedule be soft for them when 3 other teams who were in the playoff, which is the Cowboys, the Giants, and I'm missing one.
The Redskins, the Washington,
the Commanders.
They didn't make the playoff, but they had a good team. Well, all right, that's a fair point, man. But let me explain those. What's the name of the guy?
Rob Smith.
Okay, Rob. Oh, that sounds like a Bronco fan. Okay, Rob.
No, he's Let me explain that. I think he's a Niners fan, you know.
You need to change your name, Rod Smith, Denver Broncos great wide receiver. Yeah. So you look at those numbers there, man. I think they're a bit misleading because if you look at the list of quarterbacks that the Eagles played this year, while the Giants made the playoffs and they were a very nice story, I don't think anyone can look at Daniel Jones as a top-ranked NFL quarterback. So they played 2 games against the Giants. Then now they played 2 games against
the Cowboys.
Against Cowboys. However, game against
only one against Dak.
Only one against Dak. And the one game that Dak played, he put up 40 points on the Eagles. Yeah. The next division opponent would be Washington. They had a very questionable quarterback situation, and that's why I said the sack numbers for the Eagles, they're a bit inflated because they had 9 sacks against Carson Wentz in the first game, and they had 6 sacks against Taylor Heineke in the second game, right? On top of that, they played some quarterbacks. Like when they played Pittsburgh, they faced Kenny Pickett, who is a rookie. They faced Ryan Tannehill, who had a horrible year, right? They played New Orleans when New Orleans had no quarterback. So in all honesty, the Eagles have had some very fortuitous breaks. They played Arizona when Kyler Murray was hurt. So they have only played, when I dove into the numbers, they have only played 3 playoff quality quarterbacks this year. One was Aaron Rodgers, they surrendered 33 points. One was Dak, they surrendered 40 points. And the other one was against Detroit, because Detroit almost made the playoffs this year, and they gave up 35 points in that game as well.
Okay. Interesting stuff. But both of these quarterbacks also come into this with a little injury. I know Jalen Hurts has a shoulder situation, and there's a high ankle sprain for Patrick Mahomes. I mean, I see Ricky Teng saying that Garvey is not credible. He says, how can you listen to a man who says Mahomes is the greatest ever? So So that's Ricky Tech. But we're gonna stick to I just really know that comment because it is there.
Yeah.
But will these injuries play any role in the final outcome of this game? And who do you give the edge for the Super Bowl and why?
All right. Interestingly enough, the Jalen Hurts injury has not been talked about much this week in none of the media outlets. It hasn't. It has really become a backstage story. But I honestly think that Jalen Hurts' injury is a bigger story than Mahomes' injury. Reason being, that's his throwing shoulder. That's his throwing shoulder. And if you look at the games so far in the playoffs, he's only thrown for a total of 245 yards in 2 games. And there has not been any situations where the team has been under duress because they've gotten out to such big leads and their defense have created so many turnovers that they have not been in any situations where they have had to pass the ball in obvious passing downs. When I look at Mahomes' injury, I'm not at all worried about Mahomes' injury because with only 5 days rest, he came back and played in the AFC Championship game, and you could see that he was severely compromised. However, because of his immense talent and his game smarts, he was able to work around it. So coming into this game with 2 weeks rest on the ankle and him being a full participant in practice this week, now having last week and now having this week to rest his ankle for Sunday, I think that even though he won't be 100, but I think he will be better than he was in the AFC Championship game.
Okay, so based on what you're saying, I think you believe that Patrick Mahomes will take this one because in the last 6 or so years, how many Super Bowls have he contested of the Super Bowls? Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
His record is very good. I don't know if I would declare him to be the greatest ever right now because there's a lot more to be done. But I mean, his record in the last 6 years in terms of going into the Super Bowl has been excellent.
Yeah.
So give the non-NFL fans an idea as to what Patrick Mahomes has accomplished in the last 6 years.
Right. Well, this is his 5th season started. Even though he's been drafted 6 years, he only played the last game of his rookie year to get a feel of what the NFL was like. So he started 5 years, and in those 5 years, he's hosted the AFC Championship game every year. That's never been done by any team in the history of the NFL. So he's already in uncharted territory. This is his 3rd Super Bowl appearance in the last 4 years. Obviously, he won it in 2019, finished runners-up to the Bucks in 2020, and this will be his 3rd appearance. So obviously, he's building a resume which is par excellence because let me give you this crazy stat, Manning's man. No quarterback in the history of the NFL has had multiple MVPs, a Super Bowl win, and a Super Bowl MVP before the age of 30. This young man is 27 and he has done that. So, and if he wins on Sunday and becomes MVP, he will be in a class with Joe Montana and Tom Brady as the only QBs to have ever won multiple league MVPs, multiple Super Bowls, and multiple Super Bowl MVPs. So he's already on the Mount Rushmore of quarterbacks based on his accomplishments. You understand? So there's no doubt that this young man is on his way right to the top of Goat Mountain. I was telling some friends this morning that Tom Brady has 15 trophies in his cabinet, 7 Super Bowl rings, 3 league MVPs, and 5 Super Bowl MVPs. This young man has a chance on Sunday to already have 6 major trophies in his cabinet in 5 years. So he's basically halfway to what Tom Brady achieved in 23 years in only 5 years.
Yeah, Rob Smith is saying that Tom Brady had 3 rings by 30 though.
Right, but I don't think he got the whole essence of what I was saying. And okay, I'm glad he touched that point, Manning's man, because while Tom Brady did have 3 Super Bowl rings at age 30, right? At no point was he the best player in the league because, I mean, well, before 30, he had 3 Super Bowl rings at 27. But he was not league MVP. So at no point was he voted the best quarterback in the league. He was never first team All-Pro. And even on his own team, he was never seen as the very best player on his own team. It's a totally different scenario when you compare that to Patrick Mahomes, who from day one, his first year starting, he threw 50 touchdowns, 5,000 yards, and was league MVP and was the consensus best player on his team.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Well,
Brady does have the team accomplishments in the first 5 years,
the individual
in terms of individual
yeah.
dominance, he's nowhere close to the player. I was looking at the stats the other day. After 5 seasons, Tom Brady had something like 126 touchdowns and like 69 interceptions. And after 5 seasons, Patrick Mahomes has 192 touchdowns, which is like almost 70 more than Tom Brady. And he has 49 interceptions, which is like almost 20 less than Tom Brady. So he's far, far, far. Listen to this crazy stat, Mannings, man. In the history of the NFL playoffs, Patrick Mahomes is first in the whole NFL history of the playoffs. You know, he's first in completion percentage, yards per game, touchdowns per game, touchdowns to INT, and passer rating. These are all the stats that shows you how good that a quarterback has been. And he's first in every single statistical category in the history of the NFL.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So I mean, this game, no, Jalen Hurts is no fluke, right? I mean, whether you think the roster was easy, they have gotten here, like I said, they are very good at the run game. The run game is really very safe, because if you run well, you're probably going to have less interceptions as a quarterback. You may get some fumbles and all of those things, but the run game is a whole lot safer. So if this is a 13-12 game, you'd think like the team that was running the ball would win it. But if it goes up to 40, 35, that kind of a score line, then you'd think like that's a lot of throwing, which it would favor the Kansas City Chief, who is known for their so how do you see the game going? Is it going to be low in terms of the final score? Are you, given the stats that you talked about in terms of the 3 high quality quarterbacks faced by the Eagles, the amount of points that they allowed, if you see it, if you see it being a high scoring game or a low scoring game? Because I think the lower the score, it is the more it favors the Eagles. The higher the score, it's the more it's going to favor the Kansas City Chiefs.
Right. All right. But me personally, man, I anticipate a very high scoring game. If you look at the game last week against the Bengals, the Chiefs made 3 unforced errors which prevented them from scoring over 30 points. The first drive of the game, the guy dropped the touchdown in the end zone. Mahomes hit him right in the hands. He didn't catch it, right? The second drive, they scored a touchdown and it was called back because of a stupid holding penalty, which didn't even have anything to do with the play. And then the third mistake they made was when that ball slipped out of Mahomes' hand, when they were obviously, when they had the lead and they were driving down. So that was 3 unforced errors that had nothing to do with the Cincinnati defense. It was just them self-inflicting hurt on themselves. So, and then I went back. These 2 teams played last year in week 4, the Eagles and the Chiefs. They played last year in Philadelphia. And when you go back and watch the game, what's surprising to find out is that the Chiefs ran for 200 yards in that game.
Did Jalen Hurts play in that game?
Yes, he did. The only difference in that game now, Mannings man, is that here's the difference in that game, Mannings man. There's been some changes. The Eagles in the offseason brought in A.J. Brown as another wide receiver, and they brought in Hassan Reddick to be a pass rusher. So he would be the additions to the Eagles from last year. And the Chiefs now.
And they lost. The Chiefs, and they also
lost Tyreek.
Tyreek Hill, yes.
However, this year, this Chiefs team is seeing a significant contribution from 6 rookies, some of which they gained during that same Tyreek trade. Because last week in the Cincinnati game, I counted they had 2 interceptions by rookies. Carl Loftus had a sack. The rookie running back Isaiah Pacheco made a lot of good plays. The other rookie, Brian Cook, he was the one who tipped the ball over to Williams to intercept it. So I think that the contribution that the Chiefs rookies are making more than makes up for the loss of Tyreek Hill. So that last year the Chiefs beat them, 42-23. Have the Eagles made up 20 points based on those changes? I don't know.
Well, they haven't made up 20 points, but what I'll say is, which is what Rob is saying, is that will Patty have enough time to throw the ball? Can the Chief get to hurt? Which is because the 49ers defensive line is better than the Chiefs, and we couldn't get to him, right? So what he's saying is that the 49ers could not get to Hurts. Will the Chiefs be able to get to Hurts? That's number one. And number two, given how good the Chief rush game is, will Patty Mahomes have enough time to execute his good throwing game?
Well, man is man. I think a surprising aspect of this game that very early on, you'll be able to tell where the flow of this game is going on, because the Chiefs have one objective coming into this game, and that's to stop the run. I don't think the Chiefs are losing any sleep at night thinking that Jalen Hurts can beat them from the pocket. That's not going to happen. If the Eagles are going to win this game, they have to go rush to probably, because in the two previous playoff games that they have won, they've run for 150 yards. And those were against teams that were not as good as the Chiefs. So for them to beat the Chiefs, honestly, man, they would have to run for like 200 yards. So the main objective of the Chiefs team is to stop the run. I don't think they are losing any sleep over Jalen Hurts beating them from the pocket, especially since the fact that we know he has a compromised shoulder. For the Chiefs now, what the Chiefs need to do to slow down this Eagles defense is to establish the run with this rookie, Isaiah Pacheco. Don't just come into the game and giving Paddy 5 and 7 step drops. I think the two main things that Andy needs to do, he needs to establish Isaiah Pacheco in the run, and then he needs to use his quick ride receivers and the short pass screen game. Like, just throw it out in the flat to guys like Tony, get a couple blockers out there, make him use him creativity and try to create yards like that. Don't early on in the game subject Mahomes to these 7 step drops to make the pass rusher come down on it. Yeah. So it comes down to play calling.
Yeah. All right. So a lot of your friends are very strange or challenging you, in the comment section, like Gunner's Boss and Ricky Teng, saying that the information you provided on Brady. He says that Tom Brady has the most passing touchdowns by a quarterback in the regular season and playoffs with 737 touchdowns. But I think Garvey was speaking about up to the age of 30. I think some of those numbers, unless I'm wrong, but I think he was speaking up to the age of 30. So some of those Brady numbers would have come after the age of 30. All right, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah.
Right, and he's talking about aggregate numbers. I'm talking about averages,
Yeah. So it's two different.
I'll give you this one crazy stat, man. In the playoffs, Patrick Mahomes' lifetime career passer rating is 106.2, and Tom Brady's is 89. You see the gulf between them?
Yeah, but that is because you're measuring a longer career versus a short. You're measuring 5 years to how much? What, 20 years and more?
Right. But guess what the difference in quarterbacking and other sports, man? You know what's the difference between quarterbacking and those other sports? Is that in games like in regular sports like basketball and soccer, your best years are usually in your 20s. For quarterbacks, their best years are usually in their 30s. Because if you look at Tom Brady's career, all his best played, because that's when they really get the cerebral aspect of mastering the quarterback position. It's not really a physical position like that where they have to be at their physical peak to dominate it. You understand? So you see guys like Aaron Rodgers, he's 38 and still looking to get a free agent deal, So I to be honest with you, man, it's frightening what is about to take place in the NFL, because if Patrick Mahomes is really entering his prime now, and he has done what he has done in the first 5 years, then and he doesn't even have a number one receiver. He didn't even have a guy that caught 1,000 yards this year as a receiver. So
well, Piney said Travis Kelce is the best player on the Chiefs, and he says he's not even close. I don't ever can necessarily agree with that. Just think, don't know if Gunner's Boss is trolling.
Gunner's Boss. One thing I can tell Gunner's Boss, man, is that Travis Kelce was drafted in 2013. And so that means he would have played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years before Mahomes started, right? And in those 5 years, the Chiefs never made a Super Bowl, never made an AFC championship game, and were never the number 1 seed in the playoffs. And since Patrick Mahomes has started, they have been the number 1 seed every year, made the championship game every year, and 3 straight Super Bowls. So him can tell me who better or who more important from that.
Right. Rob Smith says, Garvey, some people say it's Andy Reid and not Mahomes. Based on his track record, Alex Smith, McNabb, Vic all played well under Andy Reid. Andy Reid, what do you say?
Well, there's no denying, Manning's man, that Andy Reid is a good NFL coach. Yeah. But what a lot of people are misconstrued in my arguments is that they're trying to make him seem to be the very best coach, which I categorically disagree with. Before Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid's records in Super Bowls and championship games was 1-5. And remember now, Manning's man, those were not garbage quarterbacks that he had. Alex Smith was the first pick in the draft. Michael Vick was the first pick in the draft. Donovan McNabb was the second pick in the draft. So all 3 quarterbacks that Andy had before Mahomes were actually drafted higher than Mahomes. You understand?
Yeah.
And out of those 6 games he played in championship games and Super Bowl, he won 1. And now since he's been with Mahomes, from 1-5 to 4-3. No, 5-3 now. So what I tell you, you could see the difference. He's never had a player like this. And for a person to actually not see that, I mean, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, well, it will be very interesting, because if Mahomes don't win this, Gunners boss coming for you and Ricky Teng,
I don't see. I'm telling you, man, I don't see this being a close game. I don't see it being a close game.
Yeah, I really believe that Jalen Hurts is not there yet. I think he has good pieces around him, but if it is dependent on him to bring them across the line, it's not happening. Like, I would put my money on Patrick Mahomes making a play to give Kansas City the win. I don't see Jalen Hurts as good as he is. I don't see how he has that edge at this time over Patrick Mahomes.
No.
And that I think for the Chiefs to win this, it would have to be some bad decisions by Andy Reid in terms of time management, like you said earlier.
And turnovers.
Yeah, and turnovers. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the only chance. Because I saw the Chiefs played the Niners earlier this year. The Eagles just beat the Niners. But the Chiefs played the Niners this year. At the time, a lot of people don't realize the Chiefs have gone up against, at the time, when they played the Niners defense was ranked number 1 in the NFL. They still finished the season number 1. Patrick Mahomes had 400 and something yards and 4 touchdowns and scored 40 points on the Niners. The 2 weeks before that, he played the Bucs, who also had the number 1 defense in the NFL. Same result, 400 yards, 40 points, 4 touchdowns. So, to be honest, man, in my opinion, both the Niners defense and the Bucs defense is better than the Eagles defense. So I can't see them stopping Mahomes at all.
All right, we have a caller.
You're not taking call right now?
No, I just set the call up line, sir. So are you hearing the caller, Garvey?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Go ahead, caller. What say you? This is Gunners boss.
I want to know if this is me not even heal up the brother there over there so with him bag of foolishness. Pick up yourself, Garvey. But your analyst is smart, don't your analysis, brother. You're talking a lot of things that you are expecting to happen, not what's happening and what are the facts about this.
And what's that, sir?
You start to blame Andy Reid for losing the game even before the game being played. That is your weakness. You see what you're doing? It is wrong. You need to
I spoke about turnovers. I said
Listen, Garvey. Listen, man. Never got quick. Just remember, say you need to come out here and give clear and precise analysis of the game, not of the quarterback to fall in love with. So
give me a score. Give me a score, Piney. Give me a score.
Tom Brady is now retired from the NFL. Why you here talking about Tom Brady? Comparing him with a minnow who have many ways to go. Don't talk about Tom. Tell us how Jalen Hurts is going to, and the Eagles defense is going to beat Patrick Mahomes, because all you are saying is the Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes only. You know what? Let me tell you something. The Eagles have a team, brother, and we are coming to take and
No, but Piney,
you want to say
Piney,
go ahead.
Piney. Remember, I said the Chiefs have the #1 pass blocking offensive line in the NFL. You have to remember that.
It doesn't matter what you have. The ref just bail you out by cheating the Bengals to give you a chance to go to the Super Bowl. The quarterback was tough. He was running for his life and his one leg getting beaten down. And the judgment is worse and under my papa. Go ahead.
But Piney, he had 43 dropbacks and had 1 sack. The Bengals defense never get to him.
You hear what I just said? He was running all over the place. Your quarterback, you're worshiping, is not as great as you are turning him out to be. 90% of his busting plays become look good because he have Tyreek Hill before and Travis Kelce afterwards. He is the best quarterback as playing out of the system. He's not a great quarterback, and that's why they lost.
Give me a score. Give me a score for Sunday.
This is why they're gonna lose again because of you worshiping the guy for what he's not is, man. We're not about to give out no second prize, no brownies prize for second prize. Let
All
him
right,
win the
boss.
Super
Give
Bowl
me
like
a score. Give me a score.
What is your
Is that
score
score?
prediction? He's asking for a score prediction. Yes.
31-24. Eagles flying away with it.
And you're from Philadelphia, right?
What? I'm Miami Dolphins on the team. I'm Miami Dolphins on the team. I live in the city. The city is buzzing for this one. 2 Super Bowl in 5 years, 2 different coaches, and a whole lot of changes. I am going to let Garvey talk, and I'm listening, but I'm not going to sit here and let him come on here and do male worshiping when he's talking about the Super Bowl and talking about Tom Brady, who is not playing. Talk about these 2 players and these 2 teams.
But wouldn't you agree?
Eagles versus Patrick Mahomes, and the Eagles versus Patrick Mahomes cannot win. So if you're talking about the team now, we can talk. Go ahead.
Wouldn't you agree that Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL right now?
He's the best quarterback. He's a good football player. But I'm not gonna rate him over.
No. Here's the question.
I rate him over that.
No. All right. Right.
Put all joke aside. Patrick Mahomes presently is the best quarterback in the NFL for the past 2 years.
Okay.
For the past 2 years.
There we go.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna go around that. My problem is Garvey giving this kid what he's not ready for yet and talking about you see what Garvey start? The Garvey start make plans to Patrick Mahomes are gonna lose already and Andy read him up with him, you know.
No, he did say though that unless they're like interceptions and fumbles, which happened in the game against the Bengals on Sunday. But because I asked him that if the score is high, you know, I don't see how the Philadelphia Eagles win a 38-28 game. I think
Thank you very much.
I think for this game, for them to win it, the scores cannot pass 20. If it goes
True.
I think if it goes past 20, Kansas City Chiefs winning because you don't run and get so many points in a Super Bowl. Over 28 points running the ball, that's tough.
Can't do it.
Yeah, I want if you know that the Eagles don't even punt the ball too much. Jalen Hurts is 95% quarterback sneaking the ball from 4 yards and shorter in this year's game. So sit down there and defense by running back on them.
Piney.
If him can't do it, I'm gonna run it. Yes.
Did you know that the last time the Chiefs played the Eagles, the Chiefs did not punt?
Does it matter now when they meet them this time?
They just went, Piney, they walked, and it's only 2 people on the Chiefs and the Eagles now different. AJ Brown, Hassan Reddick. The Chiefs walk up and down the field all day. Patrick Mahomes he tired with them.
Gunners boss, we're losing you. You're breaking up.
Yeah. Next call. Man is man.
yeah, you're breaking up. You're breaking up, Gunners boss.
Manage man, you know me to call. Oh,
But we're gonna have listen, you're breaking up. So what we're going to do, because Garvey is going to come back, because I wanted him to present his case, and then when we come back on Friday, then you can come on and present the Eagles fact, like what Rob Smith
Yeah.
is saying, that we are forgetting how good the Eagles wide receivers are and all of that. Because I want Garvey, I want to make sure that is there anything else you want to say, and then once you have done that, then we can close out and think. But anything else you want to add, anything you want to share,
Well,
read this game.
just in closing,
Yeah.
Manning's man, and I'm looking forward to that opportunity to interact with them other guys. But I just want these guys to know you don't get to the Super Bowl by being a garbage team. So these are two very talented teams. Obviously, it's just that one of them has a player that can go above and beyond the call of duty, and that's gonna make the difference in the game. Patrick Mahomes is gonna make the difference in this game.
Yeah. All right. Listen, there you have it. Like I said, he is a very astute mind when it comes on to the game of NFL. Have all the stats he's not reading from paper. These are things that he studies on a daily basis. So very interesting. Like I say, you may think that he has a strong leaning towards Patrick Mahomes, but I believe that the discussion was very balanced. He spoke highly of the Eagles game and stuff. So I think it was a very balanced discussion. And it's going to be very difficult to have anything about the NFL, the Super Bowl, and Tom Brady's name not come up when you're talking about quarterbacks.
Right.
So you have to know that his name is going to find his way, and that speaks about his own greatness. And because he, along with Joe Montana, are like the standard bearers. So once you're talking about quality quarterbacks, then their names are going to come up, right?
Yes,
so
I'm looking forward to coming back, Manning's man, to continue this discussion.
Yeah. So on Friday, we'll bring it up. Ricky Tang, you must come challenge the one in a Ricky and stop hiding the shadows. You need to challenge the one and stop hiding the shadows. But we'll have the great preacher, presenting his case and Piney presenting his case, and we'll see the great countryman. So it will be very interesting, Yeah, man. So we're going to have one preacher making his case as we anticipate the Super Bowl. But Garvey, I want to thank you. I know you had to rush out and get back in to do this. I really appreciate you coming on. And, we want to continue doing the discussion because, so many Jamaicans probably want to watch the Super Bowl, but they don't really understand the game. And I think these kind of conversations help to give people a better understanding of the game itself, the history of the game, and the importance of it, why it continues to garner such great support in America. And so I hope that we can continue these NFL discussions and things. Again, respect.
Thank you, sir.
And big up my friend, yeah, man. And,
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Thank you for coming on as usual.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
man.
sir.
All right, bless it. All right, so people, there you go. That was our NFL preview with the one and only Garvey. You understand me? Well spoken, understand the game very well. We're going to have some more of these discussions. I know that he's in a group and they are going to take him on now, having listened to this. And so we're going to try to bring him back on. We're going to hear from people like Preacher when he's available to come and talk about his views. Yeah, I'm a Giants man, but I really like Patrick Mahomes. And for some reason, I think the Kansas City Chiefs will find a way to come through with this. Listen, we have our football show. We have some breaking news, 3 bit of breaking news as it relates to football coming up on our soccer show or our Jamaica football show. It comes up in around 15 minutes, right? So stick and stay for that one. I am Manning's man. This has been I Am Sure Sports. And people, before you leave, please make sure you hit the like button. NFL fans, make sure you hit the like button. And if you have not yet subscribed to I Am Sure Sports, please ensure that you do that, right? Rob Simmons, I'd love to have you on to discuss the NFL because you actually played the game, right? When it gets to this point of the show, we say, I am Manning's man, this is I Am Sure Sports, and we are over, and we are OUT out of here.